Chassidic Parashat of Pesach Layl Haseder Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread, a journey of freedom and connection as the days grow longer and the promise of spring fills the air. Jewish communities around the world begin to prepare for one of the most significant and beloved festivals in their calendar, Passover or Pesach. This holiday, also known as יקע-פעננער, is a time for deep reflection, joyous celebration, and spiritual renewal. It commemorates the Exodus, the miraculous liberation of the Israelites from years of slavery in Egypt. The stories, rituals, and themes of Passover resonate profoundly within the hearts of the Jewish people, reminding us not only of our historical roots but also of our spiritual journeys. The meaning behind the celebration, the tale of Passover, beautifully recounted in the Torah, especially in the Shemet, is like a gripping story filled with layers of pain, hope, and ultimately freedom. It tells of the Israelites who were once a vibrant community, finding themselves enslaved and oppressed in a foreign land. The hardships they endured became a powerful part of their collective identity, shaping who they were and instilling in them a sense of resilience and faith. The Haftorah reading from Ezekiel, which speaks of the vision of the dry bones, echoes these themes of revival and restoration. It reflects the journey from despair to hope, resonating deeply with the experience of the Jewish people throughout history. When we gather for Passover, we're not just remembering a moment in time, we're connecting to a legacy of strength and survival. At the heart of the Passover celebration is the Feast of Unleavened Bread, a week-long observance during which we forego leavened bread. The matzah or unleavened bread serves as a poignant reminder of the hasty exit the Israelites made from Egypt. They were in such a rush to escape that they didn't have time to let their bread rise. Yet matzah is more than just a reminder of a historical event. It symbolizes humility and simplicity. It invites us to reflect on our lives and our relationship with the divine, reminding us that sometimes less is more. Preparing for the journey as Passover approaches, many of us start our preparations, cleaning our homes, shopping for special foods, and gathering with loved ones. But there's also a deeper, more spiritual preparation that Rebbe Kalonymus Kalman of Piaseczna emphasizes. He encourages us to recognize the holiness of these days and to nurture the light of spirituality that surrounds us. Just as a seed needs care to grow, we too must prepare our hearts and souls for this festival. This preparation involves not just the physical act of cleaning our homes of chametz, but also a journey inward. We are urged to let go of our worries and embrace the sacred opportunity to engage in divine service. When we come together for the Ma'ariv prayer on the eve of Passover, we are not just reciting words. We are opening our hearts, allowing our spirits to rise beyond the everyday concerns of life. The Seder, a table of memories and connections. The Seder, the ceremonial meal that marks the beginning of Passover, is a beautiful and transformative experience. When families and friends gather around the Seder table, it becomes a space that transcends time. It's not just a meal, it's a spiritual banquet that connects us to our ancestors and to each other. Every element of the Seder, the matzah, the bitter herbs, and the 4 cups of wine, holds deep significance. These items are not merely symbols, they are invitations to engage with our shared history. Rabban Gamliel's teaching that we must articulate the meaning of the Paschal Lamb matzah, and Mera reminds us that we are not just observers in this story, we are active participants. The Seder is a multi-sensory experience that engages us all. The taste of the matzah, the bitterness of the maror, the sweetness of karaset, and the fragrance of wine create a rich tapestry of flavors and emotions. Each bite and sip invites us to remember our past, encouraging conversations that bridge generations. This intergenerational dialogue is crucial. It helps us pass down our values, stories, and lessons that have shaped our identity as a people. Finding joy in community. Passover is also a powerful reminder of the strength we find in community. Rebbe Kalman teaches that love for our fellow Jews is the foundation of all divine service. The joy of Passover is magnified when it's shared with others. As we gather to recount the story of our liberation, we not only celebrate our heritage but also the bonds that unite us. The Seder table transforms into a sacred space where we feel the presence of those who came before us. There's a sense of togetherness that envelopes us as we share not only food, but also our hopes, dreams, and gratitude. The words of the Haggadah come alive in this atmosphere, resonating as we remember the miracles that have shaped our lives. The symbolism of the 4 cups of wine represents joy, freedom, and divine promise. Each cup invites us to reflect and express our gratitude for the blessings we have received. Dipping the karpas in salt water serves as a poignant reminder of the tears shed during slavery, while sharing the festive meal symbolizes the unity and continuity of the Jewish people. Embracing our legacy as we approach Passover, let's take a moment to reflect on the wisdom of our ancestors and the spiritual depths of this festival. The teachings of the Rebbe and the insights from our sacred texts guide us in preparing our hearts and souls for this joyous celebration. May we embrace this opportunity to connect with the divine light that flows into our lives, fostering love, joy, and unity within our communities. In the spirit of Passover, let's celebrate our unique relationship with the divine and acknowledge the miracles that have shaped our history. As we gather around the Seder table, let's fill our hearts with gratitude and our voices with song, creating a tapestry of love and connection that honors our past and inspires our future. The symbolism of unity and redemption in the Korban Pesach, the Korban Pesach or Passover sacrifice, is much more than a ritual in the Jewish tradition. It is a heartfelt reminder of unity, identity, and the profound connection between individuals and the divine. This rich tradition, filled with historical and religious significance, tells a story that goes beyond the act of sacrifice itself. It encompasses themes of communal identity, divine providence, and the shared experiences that bind the community together. As we delve deeper into the meaning of the Korban Pesach, we uncover its profound role in shaping Jewish identity, especially during the pivotal moment of the Exodus from Egypt. The wholeness of the sacrifice. When we think about the Korban Pesach, one of the first things that stands out is the command to roast and consume it with its head on its knees. This specific instruction, as highlighted in Shemos 12:9, emphasizes the importance of wholeness. This isn't just about cooking preferences, it's a powerful statement about unity itself. The idea of presenting the sacrifice in its entirety reflects the belief that each person is part of a larger whole. It invites us to consider how our individual lives contribute to the collective spirit of the Jewish people. Imagine a family gathered around the table, sharing a meal that is steeped in history and tradition. As they consume the Korban Pesach together, they are not just eating, they are partaking in a sacred ritual that connects them to generations past. Each bite is a reminder of their shared legacy, a moment where individual identities blend into a collective experience. In a world that often feels fragmented, the Passover meal offers a chance for people to come together, reinforcing the bonds of family and community. It's a time for storytelling, laughter, and reflection, where the act of eating becomes a way to celebrate their shared history and commitment to one another. Unity in concentration. The Korban Pesach is also significant because it is meant to be eaten within a single household, exclusively by the family registered for that particular sacrifice. This directive encourages a focused sense of togetherness. Picture the scene: a family gathered in their home, the aroma of the roasting lamb filling the air, candles flickering softly, and the sounds of joyous conversation echoing around the table. In this intimate setting, the family transforms into a unified entity bound by love, shared experiences, and the rituals that have been passed down through the ages. This concentrated unity is especially poignant in a historical context. The Jewish people have faced persecution, exile, and hardship throughout history, and the Korban Pesach serves as an anchor during these tumultuous times. It provides a space for reflection and connection, allowing families to recount their stories of suffering and redemption. Each element of the Seder, from the lighting of the candles to the recitation of prayers, becomes an opportunity for individuals to reinforce their ties to one another and to their heritage. The shared experience of the Passover Seder not only strengthens family bonds, but also fosters a sense of belonging to the larger Jewish community, reminding everyone that they are part of something greater than themselves. The symbolic selection of the animal, the choice of a 1-year-old sheep or goat for the sacrifice, is laden with meaning. The number 1 symbolizes singularity, which not only refers to the animal's age, but also highlights the oneness of the Jewish people. These gentle creatures embody the tenderness of the human spirit, reminding us of our vulnerabilities and the fragility of life. The Korban Pesach, taken from these delicate animals, serves as a powerful metaphor for the Jewish people themselves, often seen as sheep, not only for their gentle nature, but also for their collective strength. As we reflect on this metaphor, we recognize how the Jewish community is interconnected. When one member suffers, the entire community feels that pain, echoing the idea that our fates are intertwined. This sensitivity is a hallmark of the Jewish experience, especially during times of hardship. Just as a sheep feels an injury in its limb, so too do the Jewish people collectively experience loss and suffering. This shared vulnerability emphasizes the importance of communal responsibility, urging us to support one another and recognize that our actions and choices affect the whole community. The fire of unity, the way the Korban Pesach is prepared, roasted over an open flame, adds another layer of meaning. Unlike boiling, which can break apart and separate, roasting consolidates the meat, drawing out its essential flavors and juices. This method symbolizes the fire of unity that binds the Jewish people together, strengthening their collective identity. Imagine the flickering flames as a metaphor for the divine presence that unites us, transforming individual struggles into a shared journey of resilience and hope. Fire holds a special place in Jewish tradition. It symbolizes both destruction and creation, purification and transformation. The act of roasting the sacrifice becomes a powerful symbol of the trials that have shaped the Jewish people throughout history. Just as the fire refines and consolidates the meat, so do the challenges faced by the Jewish community serve to strengthen their resolve and unity. In this way, the communal experience of roasting the sacrifice becomes a metaphor for the forging of character and identity, highlighting the resilience of the Jewish spirit in the face of adversity. The integrity of the whole, the prohibition against breaking any bones of the Korban Pesach, further emphasizes the importance of unity and integrity. Maintaining the wholeness of the sacrifice sends a clear message. Even in times of struggle, we must preserve our connections with one another. The Korban Pesach teaches us that unity is not merely a goal but a sacred responsibility. When families gather to consume the Korban Pesach, they are making a commitment to one another, asserting their role in the continuity of the Jewish people. By adhering to these laws, each participant affirms their commitment to a collective identity, recognizing that they are part of a larger narrative. The act of consuming the Korban Pesach becomes a declaration of faith and unity, a promise to uphold the values and traditions that have been passed down through generations. In this way, the Jewish people are not just a collection of individuals. They are a vibrant tapestry of lives interwoven into a single story, with each thread contributing to the strength and beauty of the whole. The duality of matzo and maror, the Korban Pesach, is of course not consumed in isolation. It is accompanied by matzo and maror, which symbolize the contrasting experiences of liberation and oppression. Matzo, representing the hurried escape from Egypt, is a reminder of both the strength and the vulnerability of the human spirit. As families gather around the Seder table, the taste of the unyeasted bread serves as a poignant reminder of the hardships endured and the miraculous redemption that followed. The maror, or bitter herbs, evokes the pain of slavery and suffering, serving as a necessary contrast to the joy of liberation. Together, these elements create a balanced narrative, one that honors both the struggles and triumphs of the Jewish people. Pesach, the interplay of matzo and maror in the journey from darkness to light as the vibrant festival of Pesach approaches. Families and friends within the Jewish community prepare to gather for a celebration that transcends mere tradition. Passover, or Pesach, is a time to reflect on the profound journey of the Israelites as they broke free from the shackles of slavery in Egypt, a story that resonates deeply with the universal human longing for freedom and dignity. For many, this festival is not just a historical event. It is a personal and collective time for introspection, renewal, and reconnection with our roots and values. At the heart of the Pesach Seder, the ritual meal that marks the beginning of the holiday, lie two poignant elements: matzo and maror. These two foods symbolize the contrasting experiences of suffering and redemption, inviting us to engage in a deeper exploration of our own lives and the struggles we face. This leads us to a powerful question posed by the first Gura Rebbe, the Chassidic Parashat. Why is maror, which represents the bitterness of slavery, presented before matzo, the symbol of redemption? Shouldn't the order be reversed? This question compels us to consider the intricate relationship between pain and liberation, suggesting that one cannot truly appreciate the sweetness of freedom without first confronting the depths of suffering. To better understand this dynamic, let's reflect on a touching parable told by Rabbi Simcha Bunim of Pershika. In this story we meet a kind-hearted king who has an only son. The bond between them is one of deep love and affection. The king showers his son with gifts and privileges, wanting nothing but the best for him. However, as time goes on, the prince becomes increasingly spoiled, losing sight of the values and responsibilities that come with his royal upbringing. Observing his son's decline, the king realizes that a harsh lesson is necessary to help the boy grow. In a heart-wrenching decision, he exiles his son from the palace, exposing him to the challenges of the outside world. The young prince, stripped of his royal comforts, must learn to navigate life on his own, facing hardship and adversity far removed from the sheltered life he once knew. As seasons change, the king's heart aches for his son. He longs to reconnect and restore their relationship, so he sends a trusted minister to seek out the young man. After a long journey, the minister finds the son in a remote village, transformed by hardship and despair. Gone is the proud prince. Instead, he is now a shadow of his former self, lost in a haze of alcohol, dressed in tattered clothes, and frequenting a local tavern. When the minister finally locates him, he is struck with disbelief at what he sees. "How are you?" he asks, struggling to comprehend the boy's transformation. "I've been looking for you for so long." The son, barely able to stand, slurs back with a laugh, "Oh, I'm wonderful. If only I had a pair of boots and a warm jacket, I'd be the happiest person in the world." The minister's heart sinks at this moment. He realizes how far the young man has fallen. The child of a king, once filled with promise and potential, has become a man who no longer remembers the values and honor associated with his lineage. Rabbi Bunim's parable resonates deeply with the experiences of the Israelites during their years of slavery in Egypt. In Tehillim 106, King David captures the essence of their plight, and he saw their distress when he heard their song. Even in the depths of despair, the Israelites managed to sing, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. Yet this adaptation to suffering also highlights a perilous truth. The very essence of slavery is not just physical bondage, but also the psychological acceptance of one's chains. The desire for freedom can become overshadowed by the grim reality of survival, leading to a stifling of hope. The Chassidic Parashat teaches us that matzo, which symbolizes freedom and redemption, must come before maror, the bitter herb representing the anguish of slavery. This intentional ordering serves as a poignant reminder that to truly understand liberation, we must first confront our own experiences of suffering. The matzo invites us to remember that freedom is not just a physical state. It is also a spiritual awakening, a realization of our dignity and worth as individuals. As we gather around the Seder table, set with symbolic foods that tell our collective story, we partake in the ritual of eating matzo. This unleavened bread reminds us of our ancestors' hasty departure from Egypt, a powerful symbol of the transformative power of divine intervention. In contrast, we taste the maror, a bitter herb that embodies the pain and suffering endured by our forebears. This juxtaposition invites us to engage in a dialogue with our past, acknowledging the hurt while celebrating the resilience that brought us to freedom. The Seder, with its rich rituals and deep symbolism, becomes a collective act of remembrance. It urges us to reflect on our identities and the ongoing journey towards spiritual and moral freedom. Each item on the Seder plate, like keraset, with its sweet mixture of fruits and nuts representing the mortar used by the Israelites, reminds us that even in hardship there is sweetness found in community and resilience. Furthermore, the act of recounting the Exodus story serves as a powerful reminder that our liberation is not merely a historical event, but an ongoing process. The narrative of our ancestors' struggles and triumphs encourages us to examine our own lives and the societal structures that continue to bind people today. As we share this story, we recognize that our personal and collective journeys toward freedom are intertwined with the experiences of those who came before us. As the Seder draws to a close, we declare our commitment to freedom and justice for all. We are prompted to recognize the maror, the bitterness, not only in our personal histories but also in the world around us. This moment challenges us to confront the injustices that persist and to work towards a future where every individual can experience the sweetness of freedom and dignity. Ultimately, Pesach invites us to emerge from darkness into light, reclaiming our nobility and fostering a profound sense of hope. It reminds us that while our past is marked by suffering, our future holds the promise of liberation. The journey from maror to matzo reflects the resilience of the human spirit and the importance of remembering our shared history, urging us to seek justice and compassion in our lives and communities. In doing so, we honor not only our ancestors but also the ideals of freedom and dignity that continue to inspire us today. Layl Haseder, a day of reflection and celebration as the sun sets on the seventh day of Passover, known as Layl Haseder. We find ourselves reflecting on a monumental moment in our history. This isn't just another day on the calendar. It's a time to celebrate our ancestors' journey from slavery to freedom, a journey that resonates deeply with many of us today. On this day, the miraculous crossing of the Red Sea took place, a pivotal moment that not only shaped the destiny of the Jewish people, but also continues to inspire a sense of hope and resilience. The Song of the Sea, sung by Moses and the Israelites, is a powerful reminder of the joy of liberation. The Passover Haggadah encourages us to tell the story of our exodus from Egypt. And it's not just about recounting historical events, it's about feeling the emotions that our ancestors felt. Imagine standing at the edge of the Red Sea, filled with a mix of fear and excitement as you step into the unknown, leaving behind the familiar, even if it was painful. It's a narrative that invites us to immerse ourselves fully, to connect with the experiences of those who came before us. Rabbi Tzadok Hakon of Lublin reminds us that we're meant to internalize this story, making it part of who we are. It's not just history, it's a living experience that shapes our identity. Throughout Pesach, the theme of sustenance is central. Picture the Israelites stepping into the wilderness, trusting that they would be provided for even when they had no idea what lay ahead. Their journey is a powerful metaphor for our own lives, where we often find ourselves relying on faith during uncertain times. The Mishnah tells us that the world is judged on grain during this season, highlighting that our livelihoods can feel as precarious as walking through parted waters. Yet, like our ancestors, we are encouraged to hold on to hope even when the way forward seems unclear. The Song of the Sea is a beautiful expression of joy and gratitude. When the Israelites found themselves on the shores of the Red Sea, witnessing the miraculous parting of the waters, they couldn't contain their joy. This moment was not just about relief, it was an outpouring of emotion, their first true celebration of freedom. The Midrash tells us that while our forefathers experienced divine moments, none had sung a song of praise like this until that day. Their song, bursting with gratitude, resonates through the ages, reminding us that Hashem's kindness endures forever. This spontaneous expression of joy was a release of pent-up emotions. They sang not out of obligation, but from a deep place of gratitude and understanding. Their joy was palpable, a celebration of the faith and hope they had carried through their struggles. The repeated phrase Hodu Lashem Ki Tov, Ki Lolam Chasto emphasizes this eternal truth. Hashem's goodness is everlasting. It teaches us that even in our darkest moments we can find light. Rabbi Abraham Yehoshua Heschel, the Apter Rav, reminds us that the ultimate purpose of creation is for us to find joy and harmony with the divine. The Song of the Sea captures this joy, reminding us that every hardship we face can lead to moments of clarity and redemption. The phrase Go Gooi, highlighting Hashem's greatness in both suffering and triumph, encourages us to seek joy, even in tough times, knowing that every struggle has meaning. The lessons of Layl Pesach resonate with our daily lives. Just as the Israelites faced fear and uncertainty, we too encounter challenges that seem overwhelming. Their story teaches us that we must have the courage to move forward, trusting that help is always near. The parting of the Red Sea serves as a metaphor for our own struggles, reminding us that liberation is possible, even when the path ahead is unclear. As we celebrate Layl Pesach, let's take a moment to breathe and reflect. This day isn't just about remembering a historical event, it's about connecting with our own journeys. Let's allow the emotions of the past to wash over us, just as the waters washed away the burdens of the Israelites. This day invites us to celebrate our liberation, not only from Egypt but also from the challenges we face in our own lives. In a world filled with uncertainty, the crossing of the Red Sea shines as a beacon of hope. It reminds us that freedom is attainable, even when we're up against tough odds. It encourages us to believe that with faith and determination, we can overcome the obstacles in our way. This lesson is timeless, resonating deeply within each of us as we navigate our own paths. So as we gather with family and friends to recite the Song of the Sea, let's open our hearts. Let's embrace the joy of this moment, acknowledging that our stories are interwoven with divine purpose. May we celebrate the spirit of gratitude that fills this day, recognizing that every step of our journey, every struggle and triumph, is part of a beautiful narrative. May the lessons of Layl Pesach guide us toward joy, resilience, and a deeper connection to the divine as we continue our own journeys of redemption. In a picturesque valley cradled by majestic mountains, there lived a remarkable man known as Arichi, or Yitzchok, as his friends liked to call him. His home was a modest hut constructed from earthy mud and grass, standing alone amidst a vibrant tapestry of wildflowers and greenery. It was a place where time seemed to slow down, allowing Arichi to connect with the beauty of nature around him. Each day he would rise with the sun, his heart filled with gratitude, and tend to his small plot of rocky land. Though it yielded little, he cultivated it with patience and love, believing that hard work and determination would eventually bear fruit. Arichi was a deeply spiritual man with a kind heart and a wise soul. His days were filled with prayer, study, and the labor of farming. He found joy in the simple things, a morning breeze rustling through the leaves, the sound of birds singing, and the warmth of the sun on his skin. Yet beneath this serene exterior lay a profound sense of loneliness. Living in isolation far from other Jews, he yearned for companionship and community. Despite the solitude, he remained steadfast in his faith, embodying dignity and purpose as he navigated life's challenges with resilience. One day, as Arichi was tending to his crops, a magnificent carriage appeared at the edge of his property. The sight of it, adorned with intricate carvings and pulled by beautiful horses, broke the tranquility of his world. From the carriage emerged Mordecai of Chernobyl, a well-respected tzaddik, known for his wisdom and compassion. Mordecai had made it his mission to bring joy and support to those in need, and he had come to offer Arichi help in the form of provisions for the upcoming festival of Pesach. As Mordecai approached, his warm smile radiated kindness. "My dear brother," he said, his voice gentle yet firm, "I have come to bring you a gift, food and supplies to ensure that you can celebrate Pesach with joy and abundance." However, to Mordecai's surprise, Arichi gently shook his head. "Thank you, Mordecai, but I must decline your generous offer. I believe that by the sweat of his brow a man will eat bread." Mordecai, taken aback by Arichi's refusal, engaged him in a heartfelt conversation. The two men discussed their differing philosophies. Mordecai's unwavering belief in divine providence versus Arichi's commitment to hard work and self-reliance. "But my friend Mordecai pressed, doesn't the Torah teach us that God sends us help in unexpected ways? You deserve to celebrate this festival without worry." Arichi smiled, his eyes twinkling with conviction. "I understand your intentions, Mordecai, but I believe that true sustenance comes from my relationship with the Creator, not from gifts given by man." The two continued to share their thoughts, weaving a tapestry of faith, hope, and deep understanding. Ultimately, Arichi held firm in his beliefs, and our Mordecai, though concerned, respected his decision and returned home, pondering the depth of our Iccia's unwavering faith. As the days passed and Pesach drew nearer, our Icci faced an increasingly dire situation. His fields had yielded nothing, and the specter of hunger loomed large. The wheat he had planted had failed to sprout, and the potatoes he had hoped would sustain him had rotted in the earth. Despite the mounting challenges, our Icci remained resolute, finding solace in prayer and the teachings of the Torah. To him, Pesach represented liberation and hope, the promise of a better tomorrow. Meanwhile, nature seemed to conspire against him. The melting snow had turned the land into a muddy mess, making it impossible to travel. Our Iccia's isolation deepened as the roads became impassable and the rivers swelled, cutting him off from the outside world. The vibrant beauty of the valley, which had once brought him peace, now felt like a prison, amplifying his loneliness. Our Mordecai, however, could not shake the worry that weighed heavily on his heart. He felt a profound responsibility for our Iccia's well-being and knew that he could not allow his fellow Jew to face the holiday alone, without food or companionship. Determined to help, he decided to gather provisions for Pesach, everything from matzo and wine to fresh vegetables and meats. He filled his carriage with care, envisioning our Iccia's joy at receiving the gift. As our Mordecai set off on his journey, he felt a mix of hope and apprehension. The road was treacherous, with mud and water threatening to swallow him whole, but he pressed on, driven by love and compassion. With each bump in the road, he thought of our Iccia's unwavering faith and the importance of community in times of hardship. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, our Mordecai arrived at Iccia's humble abode. He knocked on the door, heart pounding with anticipation. When Archie opened the door, his eyes widened in surprise, and a smile broke across his face. "Our Mordecai, what brings you here?" "Dear brother," our Mordecai replied, his voice filled with warmth, "I have come to share the joy of Pesach with you. Together we will celebrate and give thanks for the blessings in our lives." As they unloaded the provisions, Archia's heart swelled with gratitude. The loneliness that had weighed him down began to lift, replaced by the warmth of companionship and the realization that he was not alone in this world. That Pesach with our Mordecai by his side was unlike any other. The simple meal they shared was filled with laughter, stories, and the shared joy of faith. Together they celebrated the themes of freedom and liberation, reminding each other of the importance of community and the bonds that connect us all. In that moment, our Icci understood that sometimes accepting help is just as important as giving it. The valley, once a place of solitude, became a vibrant backdrop for connection and love, proving that even in the toughest times, we can find light and joy in the company of others.